But now to the besieged southern border, where the influx of migrants coming to our country continues. In fact, our next guest has now introduced articles of impeachment against Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Did that last week over Mr. Mayorkas' handling of the immigration crisis. He is Texas Republican Congressman Pat Fallon. He represents the 4th Congressional District near Dallas and Fort Worth and is here now. Congressman, welcome. So why do you want Mayorkas bounced?
Well, Eric, thanks for having me on. Alejandro Mayorkas is engaged in a constant pattern that proves that he's unworthy of the public trust and he's unfit for office. So there's 3 articles of impeachment. One is, and one of the things I just read recently is Mayorkas in his office is trying to play a blame game and say Congress is at fault here. Well, he's the one that's violated his constitutional oath. According to the 2006 Secure Fence Act, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary, of which that's Alejandro Mayorkas' job, he's supposed to maintain operational control of the southern border. He has clearly not done that, and we can get into that in a second. But he also willfully perjured himself in front of Congress when he said the border was secure, Eric, and yet he was caught on a hot mic saying it was chaos and it was unsustainable. And lastly, he undermined his own Border Patrol agents by misleading the American people when he said that they were whipping Haitian migrants, when emails now show he knew that never happened, and yet he went along with the false woke narrative anyway.
Usually, this involves high crimes and misdemeanors. I mean, what you just cited, does that go under high crimes? Is it not performing your duty, not enforcing the law, not, as you talked about, the Secure Fence Act of 2006? What's a complete secure fence?
Well, operational control of the southern border probably, Eric, doesn't include when we never had a month in our history where we had over 200,000 illegal border crossings. And yet the last 9 months in a row have been over 200,000. We've had 160 countries represented by people that have crossed the border illegally. The UN only recognizes 193 of them. We've seized 28,000 pounds of fentanyl, which is enough to kill every American about 20 times over. And 5 million people have crossed the border illegally in the last 2 years. I do not think that is operational control of the southern border.
And you talk about the Secure Fence Act. Can you explain what that is? That there was an act, a law, long before President Trump was elected, calling for building a wall. To have a secure fence and make sure that it's all secured?
Well, what the 2006 Secure Fence Act says is that the Department of Homeland Security Director is tasked with maintaining operational control of the southern border, and he has violated that. Also, there was the Immigration and Nationality Act that was last updated in 2004 that prohibits catch and release, which is what this administration has done for the last 2 years. So he's in clear violation of the law, Eric. But he also, when you testify under oath in Congress that says, and you say the border's secure, and then you're caught in a private moment saying that it's unsustainable and chaos, I think he purged himself.
You just mentioned at the outset about pointing fingers at Congress. I mean, look, Congress can do a lot more, many say. I mean, change the law, this sort of thing. Let me read you what the DHS secretary has said, the statement from them. Secretary Mayorkas is proud to advance the noble mission of this department, support its extraordinary workforce, and serve the American people. Members of Congress can do better than point the finger at someone else. They should come to the table and work on solutions for our broken system and outdated laws, which have not been overhauled in 40 years. What's your reaction to them pointing the fingers at you guys, saying, change the laws?
It angers me because the fact of the matter is that's just spin, Eric. For the last 2 years, the Democrats have controlled all levers of government, House, Senate, White House. Republican members of Congress have filed hundreds of pieces of legislation that would help continue to secure the border. But this administration has completely ignored us as if we weren't there. Now that we're in control of the House, they have to come to the table to some degree. But when he says proud to advance the noble mission, that infuriates me because that is a noble mission for the Border Patrol agents. But he undermines them, particularly when he lies and says they were whipping people when they weren't. So I believe that if the Border Patrol agents were given the ability to have a no confidence vote, Mayorkas would be removed from office yesterday.
The author of impeachment articles against Alexander Mayorkas with us now, Pat Fallon, Congressman, 4th District, Texas. Thank you for joining us. We'll keep up on what happens with the bill.